your school story, too. It holds parts of our collective story of schooling in America. So many of us have had similar experiences, even though we were born in different decades, in different cities and towns, and to different families. Our school systems, whether public or private, traditional or alternative, are places where some of us experience racism and injustice and are witness to it daily. This book also holds some stories from some of my friends, people I admire, and folks who write and share honestly. I ask them to write parts of their stories here because my words need not be the only ones. They can't be. I am not the only person who can tell this story. I'm hoping you will write the next chapters, because this story isn't over. I hope you will be able to share your stories just like I am sharing some of mine. This book is a reflection. It is an exploration. It's my truth and some of our shared truth. It's a collection of small histories and stories. This book is an unpacking and a processing and a trying to make sense of the world.
Amelia. Amelia's Story by Amelia A. Sherwood. Everything I learned about racism I learned on top of my desk, white chalk scraping the board in a Catholic school while kneeling and praying to a white God. The brain is trained to protect you from the trauma, but your nervous system never forgets. Your body will always remember a reaction. I don't know the exact moment that schooling taught me to hate myself, but my body never forgot how to hide into the walls, how to cower, how to stay undetected and abandon the natural feeling of curiosity. I learned through the silence that I couldn't be smart like Courtney, pretty like Miriam, or strong like Ryan, wouldn't have perfect straight hair that could tuck around my ear, and no one to tell me that I was beautiful just the way I am. Not a single teacher told me I was intelligent. It was not what was said, it was what wasn't said. Everything I learned about racism, I learned in school. Forced to recite the preamble, required to put my hand on my chest, look up at the flag, and let the Pledge of Allegiance fall out my mouth. I remember dressing up as pilgrims and native people, my savvy teacher putting the juice outside the windowsill so it could be cold for the Thanksgiving celebration. I was in the first grade. I remember our white Spanish teacher told us to stop yelling out the window. Just because we are in the hood doesn't mean you have to act like it. I was in middle school. I remember the worst history teacher alive who kicked students out of his classroom, and I know he hated us. I was in high school. Everything I learned about anti-racism and everything good about my people, I learned in my mama's house. I learned in a rural town outside of Philly. My mother always told me I was beautiful without saying a word. Professors taught me about the history of Africa before 1865. It was an actual course. A white Jewish woman, Professor Jontry, taught me how to organize. Dr. Babatunde set his expectations high for me. Dr. Poe gave me a middle school African American history book. I know you didn't learn anything about yourself, so let's start from the beginning. Dr. Malute fired me up and taught me to put my poster over my face at a protest. Everything I learned about anti-racism and everything good about my people was a coming back home, a renewal. It is a deep practice now to jolt myself out of what I have internalized. It is a practice or reimagining a world where history is not tainted, where learners are able to be critical and curious, to feel affirmed, to be free.
What I learned about my label. Once upon a time, my school district labeled my race as white. My mom is white, blonde hair and blue eyes. She came to the United States from England on a big ship when she was a little kid. My dad is black, brown hair and brown eyes, just like mine. He grew up in different cities and towns along the East Coast.